my kids, they are coming from a divorced home. That makes a completely different environment that they're growing up in.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking it's just more emotional turmoil. It complicates a child's life tremendously, even if the parents are not yelling at each other.
You also give us peer pressure. We are always concerned that our good children are going to turn bad because they're hanging with bad people. And you really, through the research you've done, through the experience, you realize that that is not peer pressure. That is not what's going to occur. Sometimes, in fact, their hanging out with the bad guy or the bad girl is actually a way of them venting and releasing some of their own pressure within them, but it's not going to turn them. You begin to see that's almost something we have to start viewing in a different light.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting because it's one of those excuses that parents make all the time when a kid is misbehaving. I raised the kid very well, the kid is wonderful, but hanging out with the wrong crowd. And sometimes hanging out with the wrong crowd is sort of the best thing you can do if you don't get into too much trouble, because you're seeing other people do bad things. And you're seeing the consequences of what they're doing. And you're thinking, maybe that's not for me.
Wow. Lauren, I know this kind of conversation is going to, every mom of a teenage daughter, every grandma of a teenage granddaughter is going to want to get in touch with you and find out more. You said if we give out a website, you'll actually personally answer even people that write you.
Absolutely. I want to say that my daughter and I, post-book, are doing a mother-daughter blog. So we'll pick a subject. We picked bullying, for example, this week. And she will write sort of the teen aspect of what happens in her high school with bullying and gay bashing. And I will write something from an adult perspective. And we do this, and so people can go to that blog and also comment and talk to us.
Let me give that site out then. It's it's the title of the book, myteenagewerewolf.com, just as the book's title, myteenagewerewolf.com. And you'll be able to, they'll get to know Lizzie as well. That's kind of great. Wonderful. Now, one of the things you say, though, and I think this is it, the core message, your words, maybe the single most important message a mother can send to a daughter: I love you, no matter what. That's still, that subtext, no matter what is said, if that is coming through, you got 95% of the battle.
Maybe even 99% of the
I'd love
battle.
that. I'm glad you asked me that because I actually thought that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like the bumper sticker thing of, unconditional love. We all know that, and we just have to start inhabiting it and making it happen moment to moment in the lives of our children. Yes, whatever.
Also, another message that, again, is so important, and you say this is your epiphany. The script I've been carrying around, this one I've been reading from since Lizzie hit tweenhood, I could just put it down and walk away from it. That is the key. We forget that even if we're living this life from this script, as a writer, rewrite it. I hate to say it's that simple because, again, to embody it, to live it, very difficult. But the truth is, you can rewrite the script you're playing at this point.
And the moment actually is quite simple. I mean, that happened at a mall after a terrible mall experience, and we're trudging away, and we're both like really angry at each other, and I'm thinking, I just had that moment. Epiphany is a good word. And it was almost like there was this backpack full of this gigantic script that was weighting me down. That was the script that I played with my mother and that I was playing out with my daughter, the angry, wounded mother script. The high expectations for ways that I think you ought to be without looking at who you are. And you just take the backpack off and stick it in front of, it was Orange Julius, and put it in front of Orange Julius and walk away. And it was a split second of sort of liberation.
Another liberating thing, to focus on the things that unite rather than separate the two of you.
Really important in terms of this generational thing, I think. I'm glad you brought that up because so many parents these days are thinking that the technology and the virtual worlds in which their kids are involved have created such a gap that they can't possibly understand their children. They may not be able to understand some software program their kid is working on, but the experience of trying to find out who you are and making your way in the world is the same experience that I had, that my mother had, that her mother had, and that my daughter had. Even, you know, with cell phones and email and MySpace and that kind of stuff, that's the thin veneer. Underneath it is the humans that we are.
On that note, Lauren, our time is up. I'm going to end with these words. I know I've just stumbled on a life lesson. Am I smart enough to learn it? You leave with that question, but I want to thank you for at least sharing everything you did learn with us today.
Thank you, Barry.
My pleasure, and thank you guys for joining us. Now, before Lauren leaves, I would like to leave you with these words from my teenage werewolf. My past doesn't have to determine our future. I can't change my own childhood. I can't change who my mother was and the experiences I had as a daughter, but I can change how I think about it all. I'm Barry Kibrick. When you look between where you were and where you want to be, we can change and determine our own future. Thank you so much, Lauren.